Hi. Before we look at reciprocal ratios, I'd like to look at exactly what a reciprocal is. When you multiply two reciprocals together, you will always get an answer of 1. So if we have 2 over 1, let's multiply by 1 over 2. The 1's will cancel, the 2's will cancel, and we're left with 1. Let's say 3 over 4 multiplied by 4 over 3. Here the 3's cancel, the 4's cancel, and again we get 1. Let's look at 6 over 7 multiplied by 7 over 6. The 6's will cancel, the 7's will cancel, and again we're left with 1. From this, we can see that 2 over 1 is the reciprocal of 1 over 2. 3 over 4 is the reciprocal of 4 over 3. And 6 over 7 is the reciprocal of 7 over 6. As we can see in each case, the numerator and denominator have been swapped around. So, to change a value into its reciprocal, all we do is turn it into a fraction, if it isn't already, and then we flip the values around. So, as an example, to find the reciprocal of 3, we make it 3 over 1, flip it, and we get 1 over 3. To find the reciprocal of x, we can say x over 1, flip it, and we get 1 over x. This idea applies to trigonometric ratios as well. Let's start with sine theta. Let's put this over 1, flip it, and we get 1 over sine theta. In trigonometry, we call this reciprocal cosec theta. So we can say cosec theta is equal to 1 over sine theta. Now let's look at cos theta. Let's put this over 1, flip it, and we get 1 over cos theta. We call this reciprocal sec theta. So we can say sec theta is equal to 1 over cos theta. Finally, let's look at tan theta. Let's put this over 1, flip it, and we get 1 over tan theta. We call this reciprocal cot theta, and we can say cot theta is equal to 1 over tan theta. Now, it is very important to remember that cosec theta is the reciprocal of sine theta, sec theta is the reciprocal of cos theta, and cot theta is the reciprocal of tan theta. Now let's look at some examples of how we can work with reciprocal ratios. Write down the reciprocal value of sine theta if sine theta is equal to 3 over 4. On the right, we can see the reciprocal value of sine theta is cosec theta. So let's write cosec theta. Sine theta is equal to 3 over 4. So to find the value of cosec theta, we can say equals. Let's flip the fraction, and we get 4 over 3. Let's do another one. Write down the value of the reciprocal of cos theta if cos theta is equal to 2 over 5. Sec theta is the reciprocal of cos theta. So we can write sec theta down here. Cos theta is equal to 2 over 5. So sec theta will be equal to 5 over 2. Let's do another one. Write down the reciprocal of cot theta if cot theta is equal to 5 over 7. On the right, we have cot theta over here, and we can see the reciprocal is tan theta. So let's make a note and say tan theta is equal to cot theta is equal to 5 over 7. So let's flip this, and we see tan theta is equal to 7 over 5. Let's do one more. Find the reciprocal value of cosec theta if cosec theta is equal to 5 over 3. Cosec theta is the reciprocal of sine theta. So to find the reciprocal of cosec theta, we can say sine theta is equal to cosec theta is equal to 5 over 3. So to find the value of sine theta, we take 5 over 3, flip it, and we get 3 over 5. From these examples, we can see that to find the value of a reciprocal ratio in fractional form, all we do is flip the fraction upside down. And we'll look at this in more detail when we work with triangles and the Cartesian plane. Now I'd like to look at how we can find the value of reciprocal ratios given an actual angle. Determine the following to 3 decimal places, and we have the ratio cosec 24 degrees. Let's have a look at our calculators. Here we have sine, cosine, and tangent. We don't have sec, cosec, or cot. So when working with these reciprocal ratios, you need to change them back into a fraction over the original ratio. So let's look at cosec 24 degrees. Cosec theta is the reciprocal of sine theta. So we can say cosec 24 degrees is equal to 1 over sine 24 degrees. Now we can use our calculators. And we say 1 divided by sine 24 degrees is equal to 2,4585 and so on. Let's round off to 3 decimal places. We get an answer of 2,459. Let's do another one. Sec 66 degrees. Sec theta is the reciprocal of cosine theta. So we can say sec 66 degrees is equal to 1 over cos 66 degrees. Now we can get our calculators and we say 1 divided by cos 66 is equal to 2,4585, round off to 3 decimal places, and we get an answer of 2,459. Let's do one more. Cot 9,8 degrees. Cot is the reciprocal of tan, so we can say cot 9,8 degrees is equal to 1 over tan 9,8 degrees. Now we can get our calculator and we say 1 divided by tan 9,8 degrees is equal to 5,7893. Let's round off to 3 decimal places and get an answer of 5,789. This rule applies to squares and roots as well. Here we have sec squared 36 degrees. On the right, we can see that sec theta is equal to 1 over cos theta. Sec and cos are the trigonometric ratios, and theta takes on the value of the angle. So when working with sec squared 36 degrees, we say is equal to 1 over, and now we take the entire value into the denominator of the fraction and we change the ratio to cos. So we get cos squared 36 degrees. Now we can solve this. Let's get our calculator and we can say, let's start by finding cos 36 degrees. We square it. And then we can say 1 over our answer, cosine squared 36 degrees. We get an answer of 1,5278. Round off to 3 decimal places. We get an answer of 1,528. Let's look at another one. Cosec squared 14 degrees. Let's change this into its reciprocal. So we can say is equal to 1 over cosec is the reciprocal of sine. So we're going to have sine squared 14 degrees. And now we can get our calculators. Let's find the value of sine 14 degrees. Now we can square our answer. And finally, we can say 1 divided by our answer, sine squared 14. We get an answer of 17,086. And this is our answer to 3 decimal places. Let's do another one. 3 sec squared 63,7 degrees. Now, when you are finding a reciprocal, we only flip the trigonometric ratio, but not the coefficient. In this case, 3 is our coefficient. So let's write down 3. Now we're going to open a bracket, and now we can flip our ratio. Sec squared 63,7 becomes 1 over cos squared 63,7. And now we can close our bracket. Now we have 3 multiplied by 1 over cos squared 63,7. So let's multiply these together. 3 multiplied by 1 gives us 3. And we get 3 over cos squared 63,7 degrees. And now we can get our calculators. Let's start by finding the value of cos 63,7, say 0.7. Now we can square our answer. And finally, we can take 3 and divide it by our answer of cos squared 63,7. And we get an answer of 15,2817. Round off to 3 decimal places. And we get an answer of 15,282. These rules work with roots as well. So let's look at 3 multiplied by the root of cosec 32 degrees. 3 is our coefficient. So let's make a note of this over here. Now we can open our bracket. Cosec is the reciprocal of sine theta. So we're going to say 1 over the root of sine 32 degrees. And let's close our bracket. Our next step is to multiply the coefficient by the fraction. And we get 3 over the root of sine 32 degrees. Now we can get our calculators. Let's clear this up. Let's start by finding the value of sine 32 degrees. Now we can find the square root. So say square root answer is equal to 0,727. And finally, we can take 3 and divide it by our answer. And we get 4,1211. Let's round off to 3 decimal places. And we get 4,121. Let's do one more example. 1 over 2 multiplied by the root of sec 43,8 degrees. 1 over 2 is our coefficient. So let's make a note of this down here. And now we can open a bracket. And now we can flip our ratio. Sec is the reciprocal of cos theta. It's going to get 1 over the root of cos 43,8 degrees. And let's close our bracket. Now we have 1 over 2 multiplied by the bracket with a fraction. So let's start by multiplying 1 and 1, and we get 1. Then we can multiply 2 by cos 43,8 degrees under a root. And we get 2 root cos 43,8 degrees. Now we can put all of this into our calculator. Let's start by finding the value of cos 43.8. Now we can square root that. Next, let's multiply this by 2. And finally, we can say 1 divided by the value we found for 2 roots cos 43,8. So we're just going to press answer. And we get 0,5885. Round off to 3 decimal places. And we get 0,589.